Okay, we're ready.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order.
Don's not here.
You wait on that?
Let's get started now. He'll be here.
First, I'd like to point out where our fire exits are, through this door to my left, and then the door through which we all came in today. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Did you actually?
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need Don to get started, though.
Yeah. Can we have a roll call attendance, please?
Member Overholt,
Present.
Member Gallivan,
Present.
Member Menard,
Present.
Member Yarborough,
Present.
and Acting Chairman Patrick Delaney.
Present. And then please read our legal notice.
Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of
There
the
it is.
Village of Depew will hold a public hearing on July 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the Municipal Building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York, to consider the application of Ryan Renshaw and Sheen and Associates on behalf of Khaled Chowdhury for the property located at 125 Meadowlawn Road, Depew, New York 14043. They are requesting two variances of Chapter 260, subsection 260-24B1, special permit by the Zoning Board of Appeals to conduct an auxiliary housing unit, and of Chapter 260-24A2 for relief of an R2 dimensional requirements. A pre-board meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room of the Municipal Building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York. All persons interested in such applications will be heard at this time.
Okay, Mr. Renshaw, I'd like to invite you up. Tell us your name and what you'd like to do, please.
Thank you, everyone. Ryan Renshaw from Sheni Associates, Senior Associate. I'm representing 125 Meadow Lawn Road. As previous open remarks, it's existing garage in the back. It's a two-story, and we're asking for a variance of a lawful non-conforming garage with two setbacks in the garage, and also the minimum lot is supposed to be 60 feet, and we only have 55 feet. So it's existing conditions. We're trying to change the upper garage to an apartment for the family so they can use it as an accessory bedroom and housing unit for the family. So the concerns you may have, the garage is in relatively good condition at the moment. Three-bay garage, will change it into a stair going to the second story, relocate one of the doors to the east side, and also they will require upgraded electrical, plumbing, and mechanical to heat and cool and sanitary. The sanitary line will be tied into the existing front house and tied into that sewer line for the use. I'm asking for those two zoning variances so then I can apply for a building permit for the local jurisdiction, and so everything else seems to be, shouldn't be a problem otherwise, besides the zoning variances. Then obviously there'll be this is the zoning, then I believe the next step would be planning according to the zoning process, and I look forward to any questions or comments.
I have several right off the bat.
Sure.
So this is, obviously, the whole property is a lawful non-conforming use. It's a two-family already set into an R1 zone.
That's correct.
So according to our law, under enlargement or extension of non-conforming uses of one and two-family dwelling under customary accessory uses, made lawful non-conforming by the adoption of this chapter may be enlarged or extended, providing each enlargement or extension meet the minimum yard requirements of specified in dimensional standard tables of the R2 zoning district. So for the R2 zoning district, this would now be considered a multiple dwelling, not a accessory housing unit. Accessory housing unit is attached to a single-family home as part of the interior of that home to create that. That's by our law if you want to look at that.
Sure.
Secondly, making this a multifamily would require a minimum lot width of 100 feet, it's 55. Minimum lot depth of 150, it's 128. Minimum front yard of 30, it's 25. Minimum rear yard of 30, it's 3 feet. Combined side yard, it's a little in the gray there. It would require also 1 full acre, which are 0.16 of an acre. So these aren't little, amounts, these are very large amounts for it to be turned into a multiple dwelling property. You'd also be required to have 6 parking spaces. Although the driveway is long enough, it's not wide enough to accommodate where somebody wouldn't have to move. So they'd have to make some type of enlargement on the driveway in order for it to, to be able to pass each other without waking each other out of bed in the middle of the night for an emergency or something. That's pretty much it right now, which is an awful lot. But I wanted to make sure you understood, from the building standpoint where we stand on that.
Okay.
Any questions from the board? Do you have anything?
Sure. I understand the zoning requirements was change of multi-dwelling, but also I would also consider that there's a housing situation, in the neighborhood, and to promote, it's a very easy, in a sense, a construction point of view. Zoning's a different animal that we can discuss that, but for a garage that has the potential of having additional 2-bedroom units for that area, I think it would be beneficial for the neighborhood to allow that, understanding there are zoning contingencies.
Yeah. There are also, the minimum floor area for a dwelling unit would be 1,200 square feet on the second story. That's about an 800 square foot garage?
32 by 28, but so approximately, yeah.
Yeah. So, what is it, 22 by 28?
28 by 32.
So 600, a little over 600, 640, so.
If you move the garage, it would be closer to it, but we want to keep the partial garage as is. But you're right, it would be less than the minimum required space on your zoning.
Yeah, I'm just trying to point out all the flaws in this,
Understood.
that you can address it at this
Okay.
point, okay?
Other jurisdictions have similar zoning, but obviously Depew has its own particulars. Other jurisdictions would do the carriage house sort of apartment aspect of it, or utilizing existing conditions, and to promote additional housing is in the best interest because it creates obviously more apartments, but more land value, which creates more tax value for the jurisdiction. So you can actually, for minimum construction, not the zoning situation, you can add additional units to the neighborhood. And down that block, there are other garages, not approximately next to it, but down that street that have similar, but not exactly the same garage types that could be easily promoted to additional housing. So it may be another thing to consider, perhaps a zoning reconsideration of that neighborhood or that block, to consider having a special use permit in the zoning without tapping into those requirements of that zoning. So I would encourage you maybe look into that long-term benefits to increase your population and revenue of that neighborhood. You understanding those are zoning requirements. I can answer any other questions, perhaps. Thank you very
No, I
much.
just pointed out.
Oh, those are good things to point out. Obviously, that's why you're here.
Yeah, exactly, so.
Do we have questions from the board? Member Oberholm?
Not right now.
Member Yarborough?
I'm still listening.
Okay. Member Menard?
This snow removal, if the driveway isn't changed and you've got cars parked on top of one another that need to move, where are you putting snow? If you have to extend your driveway 5 feet in front of the principal dwelling, there's nowhere for you to put snow, correct?
Well, I would also consider the driveway, the parking exemption, because if it's only, I know you have a parking requirement, I would consider that also to reconsider that parking, because it's only two family in the front and it was a 3-bay garage at the moment, it would be down to 2, which you can still park car on the driveway.
But you're still gonna be blocking people in. And you still have to remove snow. You're gonna add 2 more cars, and you've gotta remove snow. My question is, if you extend the driveways in front of the house by the 5 feet in that yard based on square footage, where are you putting all the snow from that driveway with all of the cars that are permitted to park there?
It's existing driveway at the moment, and there are green space in the rear. You can,
So you're gonna plow the snow into the driveway.
at the moment, there has been existing driveway for many years. They dealt with snow also.
But they haven't had 6 cars in the parking driveway. So my concern is, it's gonna end up in the street.
So that's because of the parking requirement. So I would also,
Exactly. So right now, the parking requirement,
yes.
you will be putting snow in the street, not in the yard. If you have to move the driveway 5 feet in front of the property, in front of the home.
So that goes back to your point, yes, there would be a snow removal consideration, but also what I'm presenting is, it would be, you do have a parking requirement, and that's your jurisdictional purview to have that parking requirement. I would compare to other green initiatives like City of Buffalo that remove the parking requirement or have a process of a special use permit for parking, so they'll eliminate that kind of snow removal problem.
But you still have a snow removal problem because cars are gonna be parked in the driveway. It doesn't matter, it does not matter, you still have to remove snow, regardless of how many cars are permitted or not permitted. If you extend a driveway into a yard, which is minimal in the front now, based on the measurements that have been presented,
Yeah.
you have nowhere to put snow.
By that argument, we're suggesting not increasing driveway at all.
But you have to move that snow then somewhere.
It's existing condition as is, as any other property on that street has the same snow removal challenges. I would say.
They don't put their snow in the street, they put it in the front yard. And you're gonna put snow in the front yard for the 6-car parking.
Once again, I would not, okay, so the consideration is also contingent on the parking requirement that you're
Okay.
suggesting.
So there's no,
Member
Member Menard, we've got to let him answer the question.
sure,
Sorry. So we're considering the additional 1 unit, which is 2 bedrooms. At the moment, the detention is extended for the family, but you have to also consider the legacy when that family over years may sell it down the road, and then it would be perhaps possibly a non-family oriented multi-dwelling unit. Then it goes back to, I would also consider this property and on the zoning, the parking requirement, so it would help prevent what you're suggesting, the snow removal issue. Now, obviously, that's a big ask and consideration to it, but I also consider thinking the parking requirement nationally and Western New York wise is changing. I know you have not done that in this jurisdiction, but the Green Initiative is pushing in other jurisdictions considering the parking requirement. The town of Amherst has also all do the parking requirement also recently in this past. The town of Tonawanda readjusted the parking requirement also to engage new green initiatives in the area. So back to your point, I would not recommend increasing the driveway at all because there's plenty of surface area for the parking to move on the side and in the back. So I would not increase the surface area, but suggest not to.
unfortunately, we haven't addressed the parking issue. That's why we have a parking issue at times in the village during the winter. So we can't base it on what might be coming. We have to base it on what's in front of us right now.
Fair enough.
And that's what I'm asking.
At the moment, there was a 3-bay parking garage, one for each, for 3 parking spaces, plus of a very large driveway that can mount easily those existing additional parking spaces required on the driveway.
I guess what he's probably suggesting there, Ryan, is if you have, let's just say, 3 vehicles in the garage, perfect world, all 3 are in there, and you have 3 on the outside, the person farthest to the left would not be able to get their car out if there's 2 vehicles in front of the garages on the right. There's not enough room to drive around them, per se.
The width between the existing house and the property line, you can have one park and drive around it.
Well, what I'm saying is here.
Sure.
Let's just say you got your three bay garage here. You got a car in each. Now you have a car on the outside of each. These cars are gonna be, you know, they're not all the way up here, they're, 15, 20 feet depending on what you got. There's no way for this car to get out without one of this middle vehicle moving. I guess is what's going through my head, because I've had to deal with this as code enforcement.
Sure.
They're blocking me from getting out of my own driveway, So I think that's kind of more where
Sure.
The parking, yes.
parking becomes an issue. What I was going to suggest, if this came up, is you can still go up to 5 foot in front of the principal structure. And you're still over 3 foot from the property line, so you could actually increase this also. So you'd still have enough room to be able to get vehicles out here in the events,
Sure.
and you'd have enough parking. But
That could be a suggestion. I may be a little blindsided by that because majority of my projects in the city of Buffalo, which rejects any parking pad addition to any in the city of Buffalo. So I apologize. So that's not an option ever. I'm 0 or 9 right now in the last 10 years, and I don't do parking pads anymore in the front. So if your jurisdiction allows a parking pad in the front, that would help in some part.
it does, just so you understand.
So I was not aware of that. So
Fair
that's
enough.
good.
So basically, now I have the understanding of how that would be taken care of.
Okay.
No problem.
Good question. Thank you.
Okay?
Anything further, Member
None for me.
Member Galvin?
None.
Anything further from code?
No, I've given you everything I've got.
Anything from legal?
So you've got a couple of requests here.
Sure.
And I think the first is for an area variance to give you that additional space, correct?
There's area variance for the setback issues. That's the 2 parts. Then,
Right.
as he considered, there's the other area variance.
Do you want to, well, I was going to say, do you want to constructively amend your request to address all the area variances that our code enforcement officer raised rather than just the 5-foot issue in your application?
Well, I was thinking it was going to be a 2-part situation, because if existing non-conforming building was not that part, then there was no reason to even consider additional square footage then.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So, because I have the setbacks of the building, if that was not going to be remotely considered, there would be no purpose
Purpose to go forward.
for the next point.
Yeah.
But,
Right. So we got to address the setbacks, I think, first.
correct, that's what my variance at the moment was addressing, because if that's how you're going to play, then there's no reason.
So I thought it was, I'm reading what was submitted.
Sure.
It says, the minimum area variance required is 15, lot width is 60 feet, existing is 50.
No, is, required is lot width, 60 feet. So existing is 60, required, and existing is only 55.
So you're asking for a 5-foot variance?
That's correct.
But there were several other.
Well,
lot
it's
area
actually a 100-foot.
Yeah.
Because
So-
it would be turned into a multifamily now. So here, I'll give this to you just so you can look at it, so you have a better understanding yourself.
If it's-
That's the requirements of an R2 for a multifamily dwelling property. So everything changes a bit there.
Based on,
It's not auxiliary because it's not a room or group of rooms, it's a separate structure. Accessory dwelling structure, not an auxiliary housing unit. And we have that definition right here.
it does, yes. So once again, certain jurisdictions define it differently.
Right. I know.
So once again, this tidbit was overlooked because the definition auxiliary in other jurisdictions is slightly different.
Right, and yeah, I didn't see much in our code specifically addressing this type of housing unit as anything other than a multifamily, which is what saddles you with 100-foot minimum lot width.
So other definitions, sometimes they create, it's called in-law suite also, which is a clause, if it's a family-oriented thing, there's exception in the zoning regarding that. So, as discussed with him, it may apply now. The question is, that's how I approach it, is a family in-law suite, which exempts from the auxiliary part of it. Now, we have to think about now in the future, for the legacy issue, down the road, 5, 10, 15 years ago, when it's not a family in-suite, then it defaults to auxiliary space. So based on the family needs that I was addressing, it was considered family oriented, which is the part of which is allowable, hence why I went forward is that approach. So the question is, if anyone sold it, would they have to reapply it to a different purpose?
The legal question is, how do we define this when what you're doing, the in-law suite, I don't think that's defined in our code, is it?
There's
There's not an in-law suite.
versus a family,
Well, they just call it in our code an auxiliary housing unit,
okay,
which means you could put, and you have the definition in front of you, and I'll
Yeah.
read it out loud
Yeah.
so everyone here can understand.
sure.
A room or group of rooms within a detached, single-family dwelling. So you have your single-family dwelling, forming a semi-independent habitable unit within which may be occupied by elderly or disabled members of the family occupying the dwelling unit for separate living, sleeping, cooking, or eating purposes. In this case, it's not part of a unit, it's going to be a complete separate unit, thus creating the multiple dwelling issue.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. That's what's, when I looked at this, that's what I came across with this.
So back to your point.
Yeah.
So how am I addressing that then? From that point of view, yes, auxiliary and separated. So I'm sort of challenging the more broader zoning question about auxiliary space on the zoning also. So obviously, in drawing, we have not addressed it specifically, but would you guys consider, maybe not at this junction, but perhaps we should the zoning regarding the potential increasing housing in the area to maybe readapt the definition auxiliary to entertain that?
Yeah, well, I think we need to take a hard look at all of our code. We've been talking about
Well, we do, unfortunately.
years.
I
We
won't
can't
solve it
address
in this session, but this is an open conversation
Yeah, no, I agree.
when I'm presenting it. So I'm at here to get a feel from the zoning board also. So I had expectations for possibly getting it here, but I've also considered there's a lot of other hurdles that haven't been addressed yet. So you guys only meet once a month. Obviously, there may be a longer time to consider some of the other issues, but at the moment, that's a problem right now.
So you can ask us to adjourn the matter if you want to look at some of these things, or we can, I guess I started with the one question, which is, do you want us to consider if we'll grant,
All of the
45 feet of relief rather than 5 feet of relief tonight?
When we switch to the different zoning, yes, then obviously, that's a bigger ask. But if you look at the street, you may want to consider that maybe you could do a pilot of that special area down that street, because there's multiple of those garages, and consider maybe redefining a zone with a special subtext or pretext of that R2 regarding allowable if you're doing this and this criteria. So,
So I do agree with that. That's not unheard of. Unfortunately, this isn't the setting to do that, and we have to go through the actual board for that also, the
Yes.
village board. So, are you going to request that we adjourn this for 30 days while we kind of revisit this, or do you want to?
adjourn or table it. So is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I think tabling based on new findings and some other enlightenments you share with me would probably be in the best interest.
I do think we should open it up to public concerns and comments. The people are here
Yeah,
waiting.
sorry.
Yes,
Get ahead of ourselves.
And, you know,
I think that's appropriate to hear from the local, then I would consider tabling it.
Okay.
with knowledge that the request would be that we table the matter to the
Yes.
next meeting.
So
And then
with,
we could get together and talk more
We
about
could,
what you said.
so with that, I'd like to open it up for public comment.
sure.
Please, if you'd like to speak on this matter, step forward, tell us your name and address, and share with us your comments.
My name is Penelope Moore. I live at 146 Meadowlawn, directly across from 125. I can even address the snow issue. There is no snow issue. They don't plow the snow over there. They don't cut the grass. There's garbage all over the place. Of all the houses on the street, that one is the least kept.
Okay.
I mean, we've debated, neighbors have gotten together and we've debated calling, and usually about the time when the grass gets almost up to knee high, and we're saying, all right, we got to do something about this. Then eventually they come out and somebody will come and cut that mess. And then they leave the grass around and it blows all over the place. I have some photographs that I've taken over the last few days, and unfortunately, this particular time, I wish I'd known about this earlier. I took pictures of their front lawn. It's been so dry, the grass isn't growing. So,
My grass isn't either, so
I know, but I mean,
I understand.
I understand.
it should be, I cut mine usually about 3 times before they even consider cutting the grass. Snow is never plowed over there. They've come and tried to ask my plow people to come over and help over there so they can at least get their cars out, especially last couple of years with those big snowstorms. And the property is horrendous, and they want to move more people in there? It is the worst house on the street in terms of the property. Unfortunately, we knew the people who lived there before and what great care they took. Actually, Dave put stained glass windows in the doors. It was taken such great care of, and now it's absolutely deplorable.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, if you'd like to see some of the photographs, I have pictures of bags of garbage in the backyard. I was sitting there having breakfast the other morning and looked out as a rat came out of that mess and walked across. This is what we're living with. They want more people, more garbage.
I think you've you've painted a picture for us. We don't
Yeah.
Okay?
see the pictures.
And they also park on the grass because the driveway is not wide enough. There are people parking half off of the grass so that the grass is all chewed up.
Just so you know for the future, ma'am, if you have running issues like that, you come in, fill out a complaint, we'll be happy to address it.
I mean,
See, right now, it's hearsay, we're just taking your word for it, but had you called, there'd be a track record to say, yes, she's right about this. You understand what I'm saying?
I think you
So
could
don't hesitate. I'm sure you're not lying to us here, but,
no,
you know,
we just didn't want to cause trouble. And
No, I understand.
eventually they came around to it, but
understood.
Please step forward, give us your name, address, and share your comments, please.
I don't remember half of the comments that he made. Norman Piotrowski, 105 Meadowlawn, 55-year resident of Meadowlawn, so probably the longest living resident there. I'd like to see all the garages that this gentleman referred to that are built along the same line as this one, detached, ready to be expanded. I don't remember that. Penny's comments over here are a reflection on the owner, which right there should say something about any demand that the owner is making and what his downstream responsibilities will be. As far as in-law term for an apartment, to me, that's really as bogus as it could be because you have tenants living there. Their in-law, there'd be no in-law for these people because they're transient in and out. So don't use the term in-law apartment for that dwelling. Which brings me back to 20 or 30 years ago when that structure was attempted to be put up without passing the board's regulations, and it was stopped. And the reason it was stopped was because it was not in compliance. So why suddenly are we crossing that same bridge again If it was not compliant then, it should not be compliant now. The fellow that owns this place is strictly in it for the money. He has no plow service, no yard service, no nothing. So that's, to me, okay, instead of just having two incomes, well, maybe I can get a third. Just his mental approach at that property, to me, says that money, money, money. I see absolutely no reason to not worry about additional residents on that street. The street parking is becoming more and more valued. This gentleman is referring to the fact that we should try and encourage more triple residents in that neighborhood to bring more people into the neighborhood. Obviously, he doesn't live in the neighborhood, so he doesn't know what he's talking about as far as that neighborhood. I speak as a person who lives there, has lived there, and intends to keep living there, but the neighborhood is changing, but we like the neighborhood kept to the quality that everybody else was able to keep. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Please step forward, tell us your name and address, and share your comments with us, please.
Good evening, I'm Joanna Viverto. I live at 176 Meadow Lawn. I can agree that house is very unkept. But I want to say, one reason that most of us bought our homes on a suburban street like Meadow Lawn Road is because we did not wish to live among a multiple occupancy dwelling. My fear is, if this gets passed, it's going to happen again and again. Overcrowding a once charming neighborhood. The formula of single and double family homes has worked for the 60 years my home has been in my family, and I cannot think of one positive impact this request would have on my neighborhood. Let's face it, it's a money grab. And making your home on a safe, pleasant street is not about making money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Name and address, please.
Sharon Fair, 140 Meadow Lawn, also directly across the street from 125. I've been a resident there for 29 years, and most of the doubles, there's a lot of doubles on that street, are not only owner-occupied, but they're family in both. And we've never had problems before with garbage or plowing, anything like that. I just want to back up everything that Penny has said. And I'll tell you, the past couple of winters with these storms we had, I really felt sorry for those tenants because they couldn't get their cars out. They could not get their cars out. They were wading through, this was days and days and days. They had to wait till it melted. So I just want to reinforce what everyone else has been saying. We've been there a long time. We'd like to keep staying there, raise our children there. But I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Renshaw, I have one more question. Is the owner occupied, or is he a absent landlord?
It's a family, part of his family lives there.
But the owner himself doesn't?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
He has some health issues.
I was just curious after listening.
He was at one point, but right now, no.
His family does or doesn't live there?
His part of his family doesn't live there.
Is it up or down?
I can't even see, they introduce him as, relatives and family, so I didn't inquire that kind of detail.
Okay, I'll have to go over and meet him.
So, did you have anything you wanted to say in response?
Sure. Committee, I do appreciate you making the comments. Obviously, you have reasons to complain, and I will definitely address it to the owners. I wasn't aware of those issues. I came in the summertime, not in winter, or so.
We don't want you aware, we want the owner aware. He's the guy that should have all these 2 years or whatever he owned, be aware of it.
With all
Yeah,
due
yeah.
respect, because you've had some very helpful comments tonight. We can't have banter back and forth because we have to type up minutes.
Appreciate
And this is
Yeah.
going to be an extensive record. Did you have anything else you wanted to say in rebuttal without engaging in a formal?
Understood,
discussion?
thank you. That's a good point. I do appreciate all the comments from the board and the residents. I will address it and bring it to the owner. I know it's going to be a long road if it is possible. I told him there's going to be obstacles and requesting this. So I do appreciate everyone's comments, and thank you.
Thank you.
So, just so I'm clear, are we asking for an adjournment?
Yes, I'm asking for a table on decision, so no response at the moment. We may come back with revised application down the road, considering there's a lot more.
You don't have to
take-
give us a reason, just you're asking for us
You're
to
requesting
table
us to
it.
table.
All right.
Yeah, I'm requesting the table, I think, at this
We have a
point.
motion to table this variance.
I make a motion to table this variance.
Motion by Member Menard, seconded by Member Gallivan. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Overholt?
Yes.
Member Gallivan?
Yes.
Member Menard?
Yes.
Member Yarborough?
Yes.
And Acting Chairman Delaney?
Yes. Motion, the variance is tabled, vote of 5.
Okay,
Motion
for a
to-
second to shut the thing.
Motion to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Member Menard, seconded by Member Gallivan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing is closed.
All right. Good job, everybody.